I did introduce them last time, but for people who are here for the first time, Neha is a doctor and a public health specialist. She is currently working with Piramal Swasthya, providing technical guidance for health-related interventions under their aspirational district program. And Rachita is a social behavior change communication specialist and has a very strong understanding of communication for development, health system strengthening, nutrition, public health, and so on. Work with Piramal Swasthya again for their aspirational district program. So both of them together will be taking you through the session today. Like before, we will use Hindi and English. And for people who are again joining for the first time, please feel free to drop any questions you have while the session is going on. Anything that's not clear, please put in your queries on the chat box, and we will make sure that gets addressed towards the end of the session. And one final point, I know that it's a limited time of 1 hour, and usually there's quite a bit of content that we need to cover in this 1 hour. So like I had mentioned before, what we will also do is post this, share with you certain resources, checklists, protocols, everything that we spoke about even in the last 2 sessions, right? So a docket of these resources along with the presentations will be shared with you separately after the sessions. That's it from my end. So over to Dr. Neha and Rachita to take it forward. I will share the video, Rachita and Dr. Neha.
Yes, thank you, Meenu, for the introduction. So most of us, I guess, you know who we are. I'm Dr. Neha, and I'm here with my colleague, Rachita. We'll be taking this session on how to address vaccine hesitancy. So as Meenu mentioned, we work with Piramal Swasthya, which is the philanthropic wing of Piramal Enterprise, and we are associated with Aspirational District Transformation Program. Under this program, we are working in collaboration with Niti Aayog, and we have our presence in 25 districts across 7 Indian states, and we are working alongside the district administration to improve health and nutrition related indicators in these aspirational districts. So we are working in both like demand and supply side. In the supply side, we are helping the administration in strengthening their infrastructure and also in capacity building of frontline workers and also their medical staff at FRUs and other health and wellness centers. And in the demand side, we are working in close contact with the community. We are engaged with community influencers, and we are trying to create awareness and also generate demand for the health services that are there. So this is just to give you a little background of what we do. Next, please. So yes, this is our work. Then in today's session, we'll be talking about what vaccination is, how it works, and then coming to the main issue, which is vaccine hesitancy and what are the determinants of vaccine hesitancy. And the second half of the session will be taken by Rachita, who will be telling you how to address vaccine hesitancy that you come across while working in the community. Next, please. Next slide, please. Okay, I think there's some lag. Am I audible, Meenu?
Yes, Dr. Neha, you are audible.
Yeah, Dr. Neha, even I can hear you. I'm not sure.
Okay. Because I can't see the slides moving.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's not moving, it's stuck.
Okay, okay.
Hi, Neha, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I think there was a power failure. Let me just once again share the screen. Can you see the screen?
Not yet.
Anymore.
Okay. Neha, what about now?
Yes, the screen is visible. Can you please move to the next slide? Okay, so now what is vaccine hesitancy? So by definition, vaccine hesitancy is delay in acceptance or refusal of vaccine. And this is in condition that there is availability of vaccine. Vaccine है लेकिन उसकी demand नहीं है and people are refusing to take it or accept it. So that is vaccine hesitancy, and it is very complex phenomena. So a vaccine hesitancy can have different reasons which can vary across like time, place. Maybe uh, say 2 or 3 months back when the COVID vaccination campaign started, so people were refusing to take it, but now the reasons might have changed for the refusal. So this can vary like that. And just by looking at the numbers, अगर हमको data कहता है कि इस population में there is only 10% uptake of the vaccine, so we cannot say कि it is because of vaccine hesitancy. So we have to investigate and look into it कि whether it is because of poor availability of the vaccine, कि vaccine है ही नहीं, stock out हो रहा है, or there is like the reach is not proper, like it's not able to penetrate to the peripheries. Or what is the reason behind it? So we have to look into the cause for low uptake, and then only we can decide whether it is vaccine hesitancy or some operational challenges that are there. Next, please. So these are the three determinants of vaccine hesitancy. What you are able to see on the screen, this is called a 3Cs model for vaccine hesitancy. And the 3Cs here stand for complacency, confidence, and convenience. When we say complacency, it means that the individual is like satisfied in his own being and is unaware, he or she is unaware of the dangers that lie ahead. So अगर उनको लगता है कि this disease is not dangerous, there is low perceived risk of the disease, so they will not want to take the vaccine. Or they feel कि they are strong enough, their immunity is strong enough कि उनको बीमारी होगी नहीं. So that is so another reason that goes with it. Or they have some other responsibilities that they feel are more important than going out and taking the vaccine. They have to provide for the family, उनको काम पर जाना है, and they cannot skip on work to spend that day to go and go to the center and get the vaccine. So that is like complacency. Or then confidence, or rather I can say lack of confidence. अगर उनको trust नहीं है, they don't believe in the vaccine, because these arguments keep coming up with this new COVID vaccine, it is a new vaccine, and they don't trust the efficacy or the safety of the vaccine. So that can prevent people from going out and taking the vaccine. Or in the system that delivers. लोगों को public health system में अगर belief नहीं है, they don't trust the hospital, government hospital, या government दे रही है तो उनको लगता है ये अच्छा नहीं होगा, ठीक नहीं होगा. Or in the policy makers, like these rumors also go on that this whole vaccination drive is like a political agenda for the government. So अगर इस तरह की बातें they are going around in the community, so there is lack of trust in the system, so that will prevent people from going ahead and taking the vaccine. Then third comes the convenience, कि अगर उनको they have to go out of their comfort zone and take the vaccine, so they would rather avoid it. And reasons can be like availability, कि अगर उनके गांव में या कहीं वैक्सीन मिल ही नहीं रही है and they have to travel like some 10 kilometers to take the vaccine, so they would rather prefer not going at all. Or like there can be issues in like health literacy. If they are not educated enough, उनको समझ नहीं आता है कि इसकी क्या need है, इसकी क्या जरूरत है, then they will not go and take the vaccine. So these are like some of the reasons, and this is the broad model, and there can be like many other reasons in it. And so like people who are working in the field, they will know many more challenges that they're facing. So these revolve around these three broad areas. Next, please. So to be able to convince our beneficiaries, like if we want to win their trust in the process of vaccination, we have to first understand ourselves कि vaccine होता क्या है, how does it work, कैसे काम करता है, and then only we'll be able to convince them to take it. So broadly, vaccination is a way of protecting the larger community against harmful diseases, and in the process we are using the body's own natural defenses. And it is a way of prevention. Like a vaccine is given before the person falls sick. So vaccine is a preventive measure and not a curative. So how does it work? How does the body's immune system work? So like to make it simple, like when an organism, कोई virus, कोई bacteria body में enter करता है, तो the immune system recognizes it. body का immune system, and then it produces antibodies against it to fight that infection. So this is what happens in the body, and there is this principle in the immune system which is of memory. Ki when an immune response is generated against any organism, the body has the property to retain that memory. वो मेमोरी उसमें रहती है, एंड इन फ्यूचर अगर वो इन्फेक्शन दोबारा होता है तो द बॉडी इज बेटर प्रिपेयर्ड टू फाइट दैट इन्फेक्शन. So this principle is basically used in the process of vaccination. Ki we give like a weakened antigen or weakened pathogen, and the body produces response against it, and body remembers. और जब future में आगे जाके वो कभी infection होता है, then body can fight it back in full force. So this is the broad concept of vaccination. Next, please. So you must have heard of this term called herd immunity. So what is herd immunity? It is like indirect protection from an infectious disease which happens in a community, and immunity can develop in two ways, either through direct natural infection or through vaccination. So body अगर individual अगर protected है तो या तो उसको वो पहले disease हुआ है and body में वो immunity उस disease से produce हुई थी, और इट वॉज थ्रू वैक्सीनेशन, जो हमने बाहर से उसको वैक्सीन दिया जिसकी वजह से वो इम्यून रिस्पॉन्स जनरेट हुआ एंड द पर्सन इज प्रिवेंटेड अगेंस्ट दैट डिजीज. सो लाइक इफ वी टेक लाइक टू एग्जांपल्स, अगर हम बात करें लाइक चिकन पॉक्स की बात करेंगे, एक बीमारी है, एंड देन ऑन द अदर साइड वी टेक कोविड-19. सो चिकन पॉक्स की पहले वैक्सीन होती भी नहीं थी. So छोटे बच्चों को इन्फेक्शन होता था and it would last for a few days, then वो खुद रिकवर कर जाते थे and it would pass off. But the child developed immunity against it, और आगे जाके वो इन्फेक्शन दोबारा नहीं होता था, और इस तरह बच्चों में सब में इम्यूनिटी आ जाती थी. So there was no need for vaccine because chickenpox is a mild disease. तो इसलिए, लेकिन अगर हम कोविड-19 की बात करें, सो दिस हैज हाई मोर्टेलिटी, लाइक द केस फैटेलिटी रेट फॉर कोविड-19 इज 1 to 2%. तो अगर हम नेचुरल इम्यूनिटी डेवलप होने का वेट करें कि सब इन्फेक्ट होकर और खुद से इम्यून हो जाएंगे, सो वी कैन नॉट अफोर्ड दैट, बिकॉज इन दैट प्रोसेस वी विल बी लूजिंग अ लॉट ऑफ लाइव्स, क्योंकि ये एक सिवियर बीमारी है, ये एक ज्यादा खतरनाक बीमारी है. तो इसलिए हम लोग वैक्सीन यूज करते हैं. एंड हाउ हर्ड इम्यूनिटी डेवलप्स इज कि मान लीजिए एक कमरा है, उसके अंदर 10 लोग हैं, अगर उसमें से 2 लोग वैक्सीनेटेड हैं तो 10 अनवैक्सीनेटेड हैं, दैट दोज 8 पीपल हैव विल ट्रांसमिट द डिजीज, और वो डिजीज वहां पर फैलता रहेगा. लेकिन इफ यू मेक इट द अदर वे, अगर वहां पर 8 लोग वैक्सीन लगा लेते हैं एंड 2 लोगों ने वैक्सीन नहीं लगाया है, सो अ लार्जर प्रपोर्शन ऑफ दैट पॉपुलेशन इज वैक्सीनेटेड, तो डिजीज का वहां ट्रांसमिट होने का चांसेस कम हो जाते हैं. तो जो 2 लोग जिन्होंने वैक्सीन नहीं लगाया है वो भी इसलिए प्रोटेक्टेड होंगे क्योंकि ज्यादातर लोगों ने वैक्सीन लगाया है. So this is the idea behind developing herd immunity and vaccination, that we have to vaccinate as many people as possible, क्योंकि जितना लोग ज्यादा वैक्सीनेटेड होंगे उतना ट्रांसमिशन कम होगा और उतना डिजीज फैलने से कम होगा, and the more people will be protected. So that is the idea. Next, please. So now coming to what vaccines are available in India. So the government of India has approved these 3 vaccines for use in the country. Covaxin, जो कि indigenous एक vaccine है, which is produced in India and developed by Bharat Biotech. Then the next vaccine is Covishield, जो कि एक UK की vaccine है, Oxford AstraZeneca ने बनाई थी, and this is also approved for use, and now it is being produced in India. And Sputnik V, it is a newer vaccine जो रशिया में बनी है, and it is not yet available in the public sector, लेकिन गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने अप्रूव किया है ये वैक्सीन को फॉर यूज, एंड इट इज अवेलेबल इन सम प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल्स. सो दीज आर द वैक्सीन्स. सो ये वैक्सीन, इनका मैकेनिज्म ऑफ एक्शन या ये किस तरह की वैक्सीन है, जो कोवैक्सीन है वो एक इनएक्टिवेटेड वायरस है, इसका जो कंपोनेंट है. तो इसके अंदर हमने कोरोना वायरस को ही लेकर उसको केमिकल्स या कुछ ऐसे रिएक्शन से वीकन कर दिया है. दे हैव बीन वीकन, and so they are not able to cause the disease but are actually able to produce an immune response. तो इस तरह ये कोवैक्सीन काम करती है. कोविशील्ड वैक्सीन एक वायरल वेक्टर वैक्सीन होता है. इसमें भी यू टेक जेनेटिक मटेरियल फ्रॉम द कोरोना वायरस एंड यू ट्रांसफर इट यूजिंग अनदर हार्मलेस वायरस. अडीनो वायरस करके एक वायरस होता है, तो उससे तुम उसका जेनेटिक मटेरियल बॉडी में ट्रांसफर कर रहे हो एंड देन द बॉडी जनरेट्स रिस्पॉन्स अगेंस्ट दैट. तो ये तीनों ही वैक्सीन 2 डोज वाली वैक्सीन है. इसके लिए 2 डोजेस चाहिए होते हैं फॉर इट टू बी लाइक फुली इफेक्टिव. एंड कोवैक्सीन के 2 डोजेस के बीच में 4 to 6 वीक्स का गैप होना चाहिए. कोविशील्ड has a gap of 12 to 16 weeks between the 2 doses, and Sputnik V has 21 days. And if you talk about efficacy of these vaccines, Covaxin is 78% efficacious, Covishield is 70%, and Sputnik V is 92%. So what World Health Organization or WHO says is कि any vaccine with more than 60% efficacy is good. So हमारी जो भी vaccines हैं, the government of India has only approved vaccines with a certain level of efficacy. तो all the vaccines are good. तो आपको जो भी vaccine मिलती है वो लगवा लेनी चाहिए. And any vaccine is better than no vaccine. So that is the point. Next, please. Now, who can take the vaccines? The government recommends vaccines for all individuals above 18 years of age, but there are like some contraindications to it. जैसे कि अगर किसी को पहली कोरोना वैक्सीन कोविड वैक्सीन लगी थी जिससे कोई एलर्जिक रिएक्शन हो गया सर, तो दीज इंडिविजुअल्स शुड अवॉइड टेकिंग द वैक्सीन, उनको नहीं लगवाना चाहिए. या फिर कोई और ऐसे इंडिविजुअल्स हैं जिनको कोई एलर्जिक रिएक्शन की हिस्ट्री है, जिनको कोई दवाई से, कोई इंजेक्शन से या और कोई वैक्सीन से पहले कभी कोई सिवियर एलर्जिक रिएक्शन हुआ है, so they should also avoid taking the vaccine. Also in pregnant women, the government of India does not recommend as of now because there is not enough evidence to support safety of the vaccine in pregnant women. इतना trials नहीं हुए हैं pregnant women के ऊपर to support it. So अभी के लिए pregnancy में ये avoid करना है vaccine. Next please. Now question comes up कि जिनको already COVID infection हो चुका है, should they go ahead and take the vaccine? तो लोग कहते हैं कि उनके अंदर ऑलरेडी इम्यूनिटी है तो उनको क्यों लगवाने की जरूरत है. सो इवन दे शुड गो अहेड एंड टेक द वैक्सीन, एंड द रीजन बीइंग कि जो नेचुरल इम्यूनिटी होती है इट कैन वीकन ओवर टाइम. सो अगर हम इन्फेक्शन के बाद अगर कोविड वैक्सीन लगवाते हैं तो इट एक्ट्स एज अ बूस्टर. तो ऑलरेडी जो आपका इम्यून रिस्पॉन्स है वो उसको और स्ट्रेंथन करता है एंड यू द बॉडी इज एबल टू प्रोड्यूस इवन ग्रेटर immunity against it. So even the people who have been infected with COVID in the past should go ahead and take the vaccine. So लेकिन इसके लिए कुछ conditions हैं that you should wait for 3 months. अगर आपको COVID हुआ है तो रिकवरी के 3 महीने के बाद आप जाकर वैक्सीन लगवाएं. अगर आप हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट हुए थे and you had taken प्लाज्मा थेरेपी, कॉन्वेलेसेंट प्लाज्मा थेरेपी, तभी भी आपको 3 महीने वेट करना है वैक्सीन लगवाने के लिए. And also if you get infected after first dose of COVID vaccine, then you should wait for 3 months before getting the next dose. And also it should be temporarily avoided in people who are acutely ill, जो hospitalized है या कोई severe बीमारी की वजह से, तो उनको 4 से 8 हफ्ते के लिए वेट करना चाहिए and they should get vaccinated after that. And special care should be taken in people who have some history of bleeding disorders. तो अगर उनको कोई कोगुलोपैथी या कोई तरह का ब्लीडिंग डिसऑर्डर है, हीमोफिलिया जैसे, तो उनको अपने डॉक्टर की सलाह लेने के बाद under their supervision they should take the vaccine. Next please. Other questions that arise around vaccine are कि वैक्सीन लेने से पहले कोई कोविड टेस्ट कराने की जरूरत नहीं है. There is no need for screening the vaccine recipients. And now the government has recommended vaccine for all breastfeeding women also, जो माँ अपने छोटे बच्चों को दूध पिला रही हैं तो वो भी वैक्सीन ले सकते हैं. In fact, it provides added immunity to the baby also through the breast milk. So उनको भी लेना चाहिए वैक्सीन. And the vaccine is safe and efficacious also in people with comorbidities. अगर उनको पहले से कोई chronic illness है, कोई heart की problem है, कोई diabetes, hypertension, इस तरह की बीमारियां हैं, और even immunocompromised individuals जिनको कैंसर है या जो कोई उस तरह की दवाइयां ले रहे हैं, तो उनके लिए भी उनको भी वैक्सीन लेनी चाहिए. And it is like more useful for them because they are at higher risk of developing a severe infection. तो इसलिए even people with comorbidities should go and take the vaccine. And blood donation की बात आती है तो you can donate blood after 14 days of taking the vaccine, या फिर अगर आप COVID positive थे तो COVID negative होने के 14 दिन के बाद you can donate blood. सो जब आप वैक्सीनेशन सेंटर पे जाएंगे तो वहां पर व्हाट ऑल प्रिकॉशंस यू हैव टू टेक, कि वहां पर आपको कोविड अप्रोप्रिएट बिहेवियर फॉलो करना है. देयर इज नो ऑल्टरनेट टू दैट. ये तो हमको फॉलो करना ही करना है, इवन ड्यूरिंग वैक्सीनेशन, आफ्टर वैक्सीनेशन. सो वहां पर आप जाएंगे, देन द मेडिकल प्रोफेशनल विल असेस यू फॉर द एलिजिबिलिटी. वो आप जो हमने पीछे कॉन्ट्राइंडिकेशंस की बात की कि किन लोगों में ध्यान रखना है, तो वो सब सवाल आपसे पूछे जाएंगे. सो आपकी इफ यू आर फाउंड एलिजिबल, फिर आपको वैक्सीन दी जाएगी, एंड आफ्टर दैट यू विल बी मेड टू वेट फॉर 30 मिनट्स, ताकि कोई अनएक्सपेक्टेड रिएक्शन हो तो आपको सेंटर पे ही वहाँ अंडर ऑब्जर्वेशन रखा जाएगा फॉर 30 मिनट्स. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. And these are the common side effects that you will face after you get the vaccine. Mild headache हो सकता है, सर दर्द, pain at the site of injection, जहाँ ऐसी चीजें हो सकती हैं, हल्का बुखार, irritability, muscle pain, joint pain, इस तरह के ये common side effects देखे गए हैं. And it is अंडरस्टैंडेबल ऑल्सो, क्योंकि जब हम वैक्सीन दे रहे हैं तो बॉडी में इम्यून रिएक्शन हो रहा है. सो द बॉडी इज प्रोड्यूसिंग यू नो एंटीबॉडीज एंड इन्फ्लेमेटरी प्रोटीन्स अगेंस्ट देम. तो इसलिए वो नेचुरल प्रोसेस है, इतना थोड़ा बहुत साइड इफेक्ट आएगा ही, और इसका ये मतलब है कि वैक्सीन काम कर रही है. सो यू डोंट हैव टू बी स्केयर्ड ऑफ द माइल्ड साइड इफेक्ट्स दैट आर देयर. लेकिन एंड बट यू हैव टू कीप इन माइंड दैट दीज साइड इफेक्ट्स स्टे फॉर अ फ्यू डेज. 2-3 दिन के लिए रहते हैं, which after which they resolve on their own. But if anything persists even after a few days, or there is any discomfort, things mentioned, so you should consult your doctor, visit the nearest facility. Next please. So these are some frequently asked questions about the vaccine. कि does it affect female fertility, कि there have been rumors going on कि इसके बाद conceive करने में problem होती है. So ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, this is a myth. Is it safe to take vaccine during menstruation? Yes, it is absolutely safe. Does vaccine protect me from the newer strains? So yes, the जो current अभी vaccines हैं, they are protective against the mutated virus also. So in how many days will the vaccine create an adequate response? So जो आपकी last final dose है, उसके 2-3 हफ्ते के बाद पूरा immune response body में create होता है. Next please. Is it important for me to take the same vaccine for second dose? So yes, अभी तक क्योंकि ऐसे trials नहीं हुए हैं, and there can be some cross reactions. So even on the CoWIN app, you will not be able to book a slot for another vaccine. तो उसमें वही होगा जो आपने first dose के लिए लिया था, वही आप book कर पाएंगे. So it is important that you take the same vaccine for the second dose. And what precautions I need to take care after receiving the vaccine? ये हमने जैसे बात की, जो common side effects होते हैं, अगर इनसे हटकर कुछ आपको परेशानी फील होती है, और these don't go away after few days, then you should consult a doctor. And people are saying कि even vaccine के बाद भी हमको infection हो रहा है, लोगों को COVID infection हो रहा है. So this is like one data released by the government, though this is very preliminary data. लेकिन फिर भी like हमने जैसे इससे हमको पता चला कि only 2 to 4 out of 1,000 people who were vaccinated were getting reinfected. So this is a good sign. And this is and the people who are getting infected, the severity of the disease is very less. So ये आपको severe disease से बचाता है, तो इसलिए vaccine बहुत जरूरी है. Next please. So like I said कि even after you get vaccinated, you have to follow COVID appropriate behavior, जो कि हम सब जानते ही हैं. मास्क लगाना, समय समय पर हाथ धोते रहना, सैनिटाइजर का यूज करना, 6 फीट की दूरी बनाकर रखना. और अगर आपको कोई भी सिम्टम आते हैं, खांसी, जुकाम, बुखार, इस तरह के कोविड जैसे, तो आपको अपने आप को सेल्फ आइसोलेट करना है घर में, घर वालों को अलग रखना है, एंड get yourself tested and treated as soon as possible. So this is about vaccine hesitancy and why vaccine taking is important. I will give it over to Rachita now, who will tell you how to address vaccine hesitancy when you come across it in the field.
Thank you, Neha. Meenu, we can
sorry.
skip the video.
Okay, just wanted to check.
This will be there in the presentation and everybody can access it when the presentation is shared with them. We'll just save on this time. Okay, So Neha has spoken to us mainly on why vaccination is important and the other aspects related to vaccination. I will be talking more about mobilizing the community to undertake vaccination. We've seen there are myths around vaccination. Neha has also tried to address some of the questions. Some questions are being posted on the chat box also. We'll take questions at the end or comments at the end. I will mainly focus on what are the 5 key elements of COVID vaccination campaign launched by the Government of India. The strategy was developed by Government of India along with development partners. We will also be sharing the strategy with you. You can read it at leisure, at your own pace, and understand different components. But very quickly, I will show you the 5 key elements that go into supporting any campaign, and especially the COVID vaccination campaign. The first one being advocacy. Advocacy is important at all levels. You need to advocate. You need to be advocacy champions for COVID vaccination. Advocacy will be done at the national level, at state level, district level, block level. This time the campaign is by the Government of India. Hence, all the government machinery has been advocated with, and everybody is on board. Nobody is resisting vaccination. So there you have the government who is supporting. For all the organizations that are working at grassroots level who've joined the session today, or are working at the district block level, even at the state level, you need to advocate with all the people that you think will be able to support you for the vaccination campaign. If your organization is supporting the vaccination campaign at the in their working area. So Piramal Swasthya works with 25 aspirational districts, and we have advocated with all the champions that we thought can support us. Whether it was your community influencers, we've advocated with each community influencer available in these 25 districts. The district magistrate, he or she were already on board because of the government training and other protocols. So they were already on board, but still our team keeps going to them, keeps discussing with them, how can we improve vaccination in our particular area, in our particular district? What can we do better to, create demand for COVID vaccination in the district, in the block, at the village level? So you need to keep advocating with everybody who you think can support you with the vaccination campaign. Capacity building, again, the government started building capacities of the health workers before launching the campaign. When the vaccination campaign, when it was launched on 16th of January 2021, before that, the trainings were complete in these districts. Our team was supporting them on the ground at some places. Hence, we know the team also kept coming back to us, telling us. So the frontline workers are all, their capacities are built. What we need to focus is build capacity of all the people who can help us to outreach at the last mile. People who will support the campaign at the last mile. So your tribal leaders, if it's a tribal area, your urban ward members, councillors, whoever politically is available in your urban areas. In your rural areas, you can go down to the PRI members, your faith leaders, tribal influencers, even the popular shopkeepers. They have also supported the campaign at the grassroots level. So you need to build their capacity. You need to tell them why vaccination is important. What are some of the myths which people have come up with? You need to provide answers. Then only you can expect them to support you with the campaign. Media engagement and social media, again, media has played a big role. We have seen in all the vaccination campaigns, media plays a very, very big role. We started with the national media coming on board. The government, the MOHFW had mobilized them along with development partners. So many media roundtables were done to build the credibility of the vaccine. So media is again very important, but not only the national media at all levels. You need to bring media on board. So wherever you are working, wherever you are facing any vaccine hesitancy, make sure that the media is on board and the media can customize the information which is required for that particular area. So opinion articles, editorials, field stories, positive stories, champion stories, media can help you cover all of these. So don't think that, media roundtables are only important at the national or the state level, even at the district level, even at the block level, even if there is a media which works across a few villages in a block. Media at all levels is very, very important. We've also seen social media, how important it is playing a role to, dispel rumors, myths, misconceptions, malpractices. So social media is also playing a very, very big role. We keep seeing big partners like UNICEF promoting vaccination at all levels on social media. You have so many videos, you have IC material, easily comprehensible IC material, which they keep sharing on social media. So a lot of work goes in, in mobilizing social media and tweaking it, customizing it for the audience. So we've seen how social media is also playing a very, very big role. Even the government website, which is mygov.in, that also has a lot of easily understandable material which you can easily download and share it across people. So all that comes to us through social media. They keep updating it on their Facebook page, through Twitter, through YouTube channels. They have their website which you can easily access. So keep accessing these pages and you will find a lot of material there, and you can use it to actually address vaccine hesitancy in your areas. Social mobilization and community engagement. This again is very, very important. You need to have specific community engagement plan according to the audience, according to the community. So if it's an urban community, you need to have a plan which will work for the urban population. If it's a rural community, if it's a tribal, if it's a non-tribal, you need to have specific plans. One size will not fit all. You have been working in that area. You have other development partners, other NGOs, other CBOs who support the campaign, who've been working in that area. You are the master of that area. So always have that confidence. So tweak the plan accordingly. Don't go by that the urban plan will work very well for the rural area. It does not. Experience tells us it does not. You need to have specific community engagement plan for each area that you are working in, each area where you want to address vaccine hesitancy in today's time. So tweak your plan accordingly, take help. There are organizations which are there. I can easily say that the organizations who joined us from the 7 states that we work in, get in touch with our team. Our team is there at the state level, at the district level, even at the block level. You'll get the presentation. You can easily see the areas. We can put you in touch with them, take their help. They have been making plans. You can also take their help and, tweak the plans according to your need. So community engagement, again, is a very, very important thing which you need to keep in mind. And I will later in the presentation, I will also tell you what we have been doing. AEFI, crisis communication. Crisis communication, again, is very important, whether it is to address vaccine hesitancy, whether it is to address vaccine eagerness. Earlier, when they had launched the campaign for 45 plus, all the people who were between the brackets of 18 to 44 always felt, hum kyun nahi? Why not us? हमको क्यों नहीं बुला रहे हैं, हमको क्यों नहीं लगा रहे हैं, is our life not important? So vaccine eagerness को भी हमें address करना पड़ा, that wait for your turn. And we all know that the minute it was announced that 18 plus can register, the website crashed because there were so many entries. So vaccine eagerness also had to be dealt in a very different manner. You had to deal with it. So not only vaccine hesitancy, vaccine eagerness, any AEFI which occurs after. Neha has also already given you some of the common AEFI symptoms which can come after taking the vaccine. So at the national level, at the state level, at the district level, at the block level, everywhere there are rapid response teams who you can get in touch with in case you see that a population has a fear of AEFI or after taking the vaccination is suffering from any AEFI after vaccination. So
Rachita,
yes.
sorry to interrupt you. Can you just elaborate AEFI?
Yeah, adverse effects following immunization. My bad. I should have done that earlier. So AEFI is adverse effects following immunization. It could be anything. It could be mild fever, body ache, dizziness, weakness, anything, irritability. All these come under AEFI, adverse effects following immunization. The communication strategy that will be shared with you, it's in public domain and Meenu or Farhan will share it with you from Sattva. It has all the acronyms elaborated, so you don't need to worry. Okay, next slide, Meenu. So these are the 5 key elements which have gone into planning the COVID vaccination campaign. And I think wherever you are working, you can also take help of these 5 elements or 4 elements and tweak, customize accordingly and to an extent address vaccine hesitancy. Okay, so for us at Piramal Swasthya, we had to deal with these three issues, which were bursting myths around vaccination. We all know all areas, all population, all segments of people are, dealing with myths around vaccination. Then we had to address concerns around vaccination. How can I register on COVID? I'm not able to register. There is no internet. I don't have a smartphone. What do I do? The third and the most important thing which Neha spoke to you before ending her presentation was promoting COVID appropriate behaviors post vaccination. Now, behavior change is a very, very difficult thing. We are not, sometimes we fail in changing our own behavior, our family's behavior. So how can you expect to change the community's behavior? So people who got vaccinated with even one dose left the mask at home saying, I'm vaccinated and I'm fully safe. So, how do you promote COVID appropriate behaviors? How do you tell them COVID has not gone yet? It's still there. And until and unless we all achieve herd immunity, we still have to keep wearing masks. And with US announcing that anybody who's vaccinated with 2 doses can easily forego mask, and media popularizing it in India, our population is also getting confused whether to wear mask or whether to leave it now. So I think the end message is that we still need to wear masks because we have not achieved herd immunity, unlike the US population. So these were the three things which the team had to deal with on ground in the 25 aspirational districts. So our work has mainly been around these 3 things. Anybody wants to share any myths that they may have faced while working on the grassroots level, while working in the areas that you work in, any major myths which have come in? Or what has been your challenge with regard to vaccination, if anybody wants to share?
Hi.
Yes, Harshvardhan. Hi.
Yes, I'm from Janswas Yog.
Okay.
So in our field areas, we have found that people have seen few of the examples that few of their colleagues have got vaccinated first shot, and they have died from some other reasons. But these examples were very much populated in nearby areas as well. So nobody is turning out for the vaccination drives,
Mm-hmm.
and few other rumors are also there, like uh, these vaccines are for population control. So if you take these
Mm.
vaccine, you may die. So these things we have observed. And even when ashas or our own field level workers go to people for convincing them, they are not ready to listen, and they just ask them to leave.
Okay. And what did you do to overcome this challenge? Did your organization or anybody that you know of did something to address these challenges?
Yeah, so we tried posing a few examples from the community itself. So our staff members who have got vaccinated and they are working well,
Mm-hmm.
ASHA workers who have got vaccinated and working well, and few people from the panchayat itself, panchayat members. If they are vaccinated, we are taking them with us to convince people.
And did it affect then? Were they convinced?
Slightly. So when we try to convince few people come for the vaccination, and then in the next drive we see that they have convinced few other people, and they are turning up for the drives like that.
I think, Harshvardhan, listening to your the myths faced by your team or the rumors faced by your team in the community, I think everywhere most of us agree to it. Even our teams have faced the same challenges. And what I can say from the experience that my team brings to the table today is that for you, role model approach will work very well, and as well as the influencers approach. So you are already taking support from PRI members. Try including if it's a tribal area, try including the tribal influencers, leaders, anybody who's popular in the area, who people listen to generally.
Okay.
Has a source, is a credible source of information for them. It could be faith leaders also. Faith leaders have worked wonderfully during the polio campaign. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
They were also used by the government for the measles rubella vaccination campaign. I'm sure they'll do something for the COVID vaccination campaign as well. So I would say use the role model approach. People who've been vaccinated, ask them to go speak to their peers and other community members. If not, take the influencer approach also. That's what I can suggest. It could work to an extent to address vaccine hesitancy. We all know the issue is very big, but we will have to keep pushing, we'll have to keep trying different combinations in order to address vaccine hesitancy.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Anybody else who's facing any challenges for vaccine hesitancy? What are the kind of challenges that you are facing on the ground, and what have you done to address them? If you can share with the participants here. Okay, maybe we'll move ahead, and at the end we can have a discussion, and we can also read out the questions or the comments being posted on chat. Next, please. So how do you boost vaccine confidence? You need people who can lead by example, the thing that I told Harshvardhan just now, that have the role model approach. What we have done as an organization in our areas, the demographic areas that we work in, we have actually asked these influencers to get them vaccinated first. So they are getting themselves vaccinated, they are posting pictures, they are recording video appeals and are sharing with the community. So they are leading by example, because if tomorrow I'm going to tell you, please get vaccinated, the first question you would ask me is, have you got vaccinated? And my answer, if it's a no, I really don't stand a chance to communicate anything further to you. So we are asking these influencers to lead by example. So if there is anybody who's talking to you about these issues, has already taken it himself or herself, I think the credibility is more. We also need to build trust. We need to build trust in the government vaccination system, government vaccination process, the government vaccine. We need to tell them that, despite the government preparing these vaccines in a very quick turnaround time, still they have gone through all the process checks, protocols, everything, and it's 100% safe. There's nothing that, you can't question the quality of the vaccine. The government has brought to you the vaccine in a very short span of time, but that doesn't mean they have compromised on anything. And if a person suffers from major AEFI, it could also be due to other things which his body is experiencing, past history, past medical history. It doesn't necessarily have to be from the vaccine. And also, we need to advocate the message that people after getting vaccinated should wait for the 30 minutes, ideally 45 minutes, very good, at the vaccination center, so that these vaccinators can observe them. If there is any AEFI, if there is any major change their body is undergoing after vaccination, it can be handled very quickly, and we can save anything else from happening, any untoward incident from happening. So we need to build that kind of trust. We also need to break down barriers. If I know that somebody is believing the rumors, has myths associated with it, I can't just simply tell them, no, you go get yourself vaccinated. I need to first address these challenges. Sometimes we forget, in the rush, we forget that, the person may have very, very genuine myths around it, and maybe the perception, we need to change it. You can't simply order somebody to take something. They would not. Maybe today they will take it, but they will never go for the second dose. Today, maybe you can force them, because I was in a meeting with Jharkhand influencers yesterday, and they were sharing with me that there are threats from the vaccinator that we will not give you the PDS ration. We will not give you the age-old pension that you get, the old age pension we will not give you if you don't get yourself vaccinated. Now that person got himself or herself vaccinated with the first dose, but will never come back for the second dose. And the message the person will carry into the community will be very, will not be nice for the campaign, and will act in a negative manner. So we need to break down the barriers instead of pushing people, instead of forcing them. So these are the three things by which you can boost vaccine confidence among the community. Of course, you can't, use them in isolation. You have to club it with a lot of other interventions. And let's see what you need to do next. Next, please. Work with the community influencers. Like I said, this is based on our own experience. My team, some members from my team have also joined the webinar today, and they would be agreeing because they are the people who worked on the ground. Neha and I may be presenting it in front of you today, but the solid work has been done by my team members who are here. So work with the community influencers. This is one answer to community engagement to address vaccine hesitancy. Next, please. At Piramal Swasthya, we work with these 4 kind of influencers, PRI members to begin with. We all know how powerful they are, and community respects them. Also, they are financially powerful. So there are some things that we ask them that, for COVID appropriate behaviors, when we wanted to propagate them and when we wanted to restart BHSNDs after the lockdown was over last year, we asked these community members, these PRI members to actually, sanitize the session site, to mobilize people. These PRI members have also been distributing masks in their community, have also been mobilizing people to take vaccine, have been granting space in the Panchayat Bhavan for the vaccinator to organize a session site. So they are very, very important. Faith leaders have done wonderful work during the polio campaign, during the measles rubella campaign. They are also supporting us for COVID vaccination campaign. They are leading by example. Even the SDO in the block, at the block level, is taking their help, is organizing formal meetings with them in his office and is asking them for help, for support, to burst the myths around COVID vaccination. Myths like it will lead to infertility, myths like it's not wise to take it because it uses substances which go against our religion. Myths like you should not take them in during the holy period of Ramzan because you will break your roza. Myths like these. So these are all, these myths revolve around religion. So these influencers have been really beneficial in bursting these myths. Tribal leaders and influencers, because we also work in tribal areas where you may not have very powerful faith leaders, but you have tribal leaders who are very, very powerful. They have been supporting us. We are also making use of or engaging with student volunteers for vaccination. Student volunteers from NYKS. So they're all coming through the government association. We are associating with the government body actually, and they are asking these students to support us. We also have, so somebody is actually elaborating on the acronyms. Thank you so much. We also have Women Empowerment Cell. We have some 300 volunteers who are working in Chitrakoot district from Women Empowerment, who have been deployed by the Women Empowerment Cell. So we are also working with these volunteers. What Piramal Swasthya does is we orient them, handhold them, and then these volunteers go down to the villages which they have been allotted and speak to the families and motivate them to take vaccination and also keep following COVID appropriate behaviors and go in for testing if they see any symptoms of COVID. Next, please. How have we been communicating with them? We are using a mix of media. We are not using just one thing. We are using WhatsApp messages, but then there are many people who do not have a smartphone or have internet challenges. We are using SMS for them. Earlier, we were also meeting them face-to-face and orienting them. Now, with the second wave, this has reduced because of given reasons. But now, since the second wave also seems to subside, I hope it does soon. We've also restarted the face-to-face meetings. We are generating appeals for them, wherein we are appealing them. We are making an appeal to them to take the vaccine themselves and also propagate the message in the community. We've also done simple WhatsApp videos for them in-house. We are not doing any fancy videos for them. We've done WhatsApp videos in-house for them. We are also sharing that. We're doing in-person meetings like I told you. 2 months it was very difficult, April and May, but June onwards we've started it again. We're also orienting them through telecalls. So Our team, who's in constant touch with these influencers, is calling them, orienting them on key messages, what they need to speak to the community. And the wonderful thing which is happening is these influencers are creating their own video appeals and disseminating in their community. So imagine everybody has become a voice today. So they feel that they have a duty towards the community. They have become our voices. They are recording their own videos and they are disseminating in their community, whether it is to take the vaccine, whether it is to follow COVID appropriate behaviors, or whether it is to go in for COVID testing as soon as they see symptoms. So all that is happening. Next, please. So this is a simple video that we had created for PRI members. Wanted to show it to all of you that how simple messages can be and how can you just disseminate them. You really don't need any fancy videos to communicate something to your influencers.
Rachita, do you want to play it now or address the questions and then maybe play this towards the end?
Yeah, maybe we can play it towards the end. Yeah. Or the presentation will be shared. Everybody can look at it at their own convenience also.
Sure.
Next, please. These are some of the photos that we have captured from the community of how these PRI members, faith leaders are supporting us. Next, please. Media is covering it. Like I said, you can't leave the media alone. They can actually customize the content and reach and have a very far reach in the community. Next, please. These are some of the resources that we use to compile today's presentation. You can take a look at it and also, download material if you require for your program. With this, we come to the end and we can actually take questions, comments. We can have a discussion with whatever 5 minutes that we have left. Maybe we can stretch beyond for 5 more minutes and you can all share. I really like this poster and hence I used it on the last slide, which is side effects of severe COVID-19 can be long-term, but side effects of vaccine are temporary. So don't hesitate, India, let's vaccinate. This has been done by Center for Communication and Change India, a sister concerned organization with John Hopkins. So I really like this poster. You can also translate it into your local languages and share it wherever possible.
Thanks, Rachita. Farhan, do you want to start taking the questions on the chat?
Yes, sure. So I'll just take questions one by one, and maybe Dr. Neha and Rachita can answer. So the first question that we got is around can vaccine be taken after 2 months of recovery if the patient didn't had any severe symptoms or didn't go through any other kind of treatment?
So yes, like what the government recommends is it should be taken 3 months after recovery. So that is when I think you will get the maximum benefit of that vaccination because between 2 doses, there has to be an adequate amount of time, like even when you take the vaccine 2 doses. So similarly for natural infection and the vaccine, there has to be an adequate time after which you will get the maximum benefit for that vaccine. So the government recommends it after 3 months of recovery, yes.
The next question is, what actually determines the duration between 2 doses of any vaccine? We've observed some discrepancies for different types of vaccines. So, if Dr.
So this is all based on the scientific research that is going on. So medical practice is all about being evidence-based. So you see when the trials are being done, you have to see which is the adequate amount of time after which you get the maximum result. So that is what comes out as guidelines by the government and the scientific bodies. So that is how you decide whether it is to be given after 1 month, 2 months. So it is all evidence-based. And since this is a new vaccine, so new evidence keeps coming in. And that's why the guidelines are changing because we cannot recommend anything which we are not aware of, which we are not sure of. So that is why, like with every new coming evidence, the guidelines keep revising and they are being changed. So that is why there is change. Like for Covishield earlier, it was the duration was lesser. Now it has been increased to 12 to 16 weeks, so like that. So it's all evidence based on what the research says.
I hope that answers the question. I think the next question is also for you only, Dr. Neha. So could you please shed more light on vaccinating pregnant women against COVID? There seems to be mixed opinions in this regard, but emerging evidence points out that it is safe for pregnant women too. So
Yes. So yes, as of now, the government of India, it does not recommend vaccines for pregnant women. But yes, I have also come across like professional bodies, even like Foxy and all, they are recommending vaccine for women who are pregnant. But we still wait for like confirmation from the government. And also because we are not aware of what, like if the vaccine can have like any teratogenic effects on the fetus that is developing. So it's more, the first trimester is more crucial for the developing baby. So you have to be more careful during that time. But like as more, supporting evidence will come, so maybe the guidelines will change. But as of now, it's not recommended for women who are pregnant.
and I think this is for you, Dr. Rachita. How can we proceed if the village leaders are too carefree of the pandemic?
Sorry, Farhan, can you please
Yeah,
repeat?
I'll repeat it. So the question says, how can we proceed with an intervention if village leaders are too carefree of the pandemic?
Then in that case, your team, if you've been working with them for other things, if your team has a rapport with them, your team will have to do an orientation session with them. It could be face to face, it could be remote. We have used both the techniques. We have also done it face to face, we've also done it remotely. You will have to do an orientation session for them, and we'll have to tell them actually, and with examples, what is the pandemic, and what are the repercussions of it, and what are the how the people are suffering from it. So you will have to deal with it, and you will have to kind of do, keep talking to them, keep dialoguing with them. So dialogue is the answer for this.
And what should be our communication strategy if you are trying to influence people for vaccinations over a phone call?
So first you need to check with them that what is it that have they taken the vaccine, have they not taken a vaccine. In whatever their answer is, if they've taken the vaccine, well and good. If not, if they've taken the vaccine, your job becomes to motivate them to take the second vaccine. And if they faced AEFI after that, which is adverse effects following immunization, there are chances they may wriggle out from the second dose. So you really need to ensure that you need to keep following up as soon as the second vaccine is due. You need to keep following up for that. In case they have not taken the vaccine, first you need to understand what are the concerns. Why have they not taken the vaccine, or why are they not following COVID appropriate behaviors? Well, I don't think somebody will tell you that I'm not following COVID appropriate behaviors. Only for vaccination, they may be honest enough and tell you. So you need to listen to the concerns and see how you can solve them. There is no set answer for this. There is no set communication strategy, but you will have to, but for everything you need to engage in interpersonal communication. You will have to come down to their level to understand what is the concern and what is keeping them away from the vaccination. So I think based on their response, you will have to tweak your response.
Got it. Um, yeah, and then people from rural communities are unable to navigate the registration and slot booking process. So should interventions account for that as well?
Yeah. So for this, the knowledge that I have on this is that now for 45 plus, they have done an on-the-spot registration. You can go with your Aadhaar card and get yourself registered there and take the vaccine. I think some states for 18 plus, for 18 to 44, that age group, are also considering this because people are seeing it as a challenge, that people are not able to register, they're not able to get slots due to whatever reasons, technical reasons, logistical reasons, literacy levels. So states are tweaking their guidelines. However, not all states are doing a set pattern. It's different for different states, is what I have learned from my team. Again, this is secondary information that I have. I haven't seen it myself on the ground, but this is what I have come to know. For 45 plus, for sure, there is walk-in registration. But for 18 plus, some states are doing it, and while some are yet to consider it. But I know that's a challenge to register on the CoWIN portal.
And I think there's one more question that came in the end. So, are Mahila Arogya Samriti members mobilized to address vaccine hesitancy issues in urban slums that house vulnerable HRTs and migratory populations? Any data is available on that?
I would not know about the Mahila Arogya Samiti for urban slums. It's more to do with an urban area. Perhaps if somebody who is attending the webinar today has any information on this, can feel free to share it with the participant. But I would not have data on the Mahila Arogya Samiti.
I think, yeah, that was the last question. You can open
Any
the-
other questions from the participants? Anything, anybody wants to kind of unmute yourself and ask any question or share any experience from the field? Anything from anyone?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, is it audible to all?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, a very nice presentation, Ms. Rachita, and I totally agree with all the approaches and all the activities, communication channels which you have mentioned in the discussion. Just a curiosity, communication is a double-edged sword kind of a thing. It could be very helpful, as well as if used inappropriately, it can lead to confusion and myths, because of which this hesitancy and all these things are being created. In your discussion, you just said that the influencer or the community representatives, they themselves are creating content and sharing it with masses. So my just curiosity, how are you ensuring that quality control is ensured whatever community content is being created? Is there a quality check?
So the content, when it's created, it comes to my team member who's working with them. So we have our we've created this rapport with the influencers over a period of time. Nothing has happened overnight. This was continuing before COVID also. So since 2019, we've been working with them day in, day out for various other issues on health and nutrition, for which my team works in the district. So it comes to my team member. My team member listens to it. Whatever discrepancies are there, or if even to an extent, if the sound is not clear, if the picture is not clear, even those minuscule edits, the feedback goes back to the influencer. Either a new video is created, or we don't really encourage the video to be shared with the community. So that's the little quality check that we are able to do from our end. But definitely, and believe me, any influencer who creates a video does, makes it a point to share it with my team. They do it because they also want to, show that, whatever you oriented them on, they have understood it, and they are also trying to help the community in their own way. So they do share it. So I can't say that maybe they make a video and they share it with the community, it doesn't even come to my person. It's not like that. It does come to my person, my team member, and little feedbacks like video adjust kariye, light adjust kar dijiye, ye voice acha nahi aa raha hai, phir se banaiye, too many distractions are coming in. So all those things are taken care. Also, what appeals we give them. They are written appeals. Usually the influencer actually narrates the appeal only. So that's a little quality that we are able to ensure from our end. So all messages are written down in very basic and simple language. And usually the influencer reads it out from the mobile phone, or memorizes it, or maybe notes it down in his own way and reads it out. So that's the little quality control that we are able to do. Because these
Sure.
are all known people.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wants to tell us or share your challenges? Maybe there's a new challenge which we all don't know of before we close for the day.
Hello, ma'am. Shazia.
Hi, Shazia.
Ma'am,
Shazia is a team member. So she is also one of our COVID warriors on ground. Yes,
thank you,
Shazia.
ma'am. Ma'am, I just want to clear about महिला आरोग्य समिति. महिला आरोग्य समिति भी मैम जैसे ग्राम स्वास्थ्य एवं स्वच्छता समिति होती है, क्योंकि वो रूरल एरिया में महिला आरोग्य समिति इसी तरह से फॉर्म की गई है अर्बन एरिया में. तो विदिशा जैसे अर्बन वाला जो पार्ट है, इसमें जितनी जगह पर भी हम लोगों को महिला आरोग्य समिति बनाते हुए गाइडलाइन को फॉलो करते हुए क्वालिफाइड 12th क्लास महिलाएं मिली है, वो हमने बनाए हैं. और बाकी बासुदा और सिरोंज हमारा शहरी क्षेत्र है, वहां पे हमने महिला आरोग्य समिति बनाया. जैसे ग्राम स्वास्थ्य एवं स्वच्छता समिति होती है, उसी की तरह महिला आरोग्य समिति को भी एनुअली 10,000 रुपीज दिया जाता है. और इस समिति के जो मेंबर्स होते हैं वो वार्ड के मेंबर होते हैं, पार्षद होते हैं और कुछ इन्फ्लुएंसर्स होते हैं, आंगनबाड़ी कार्यकर्ता होती है जो शहरी क्षेत्र की होती है, और इसके अलावा शहरी क्षेत्र की आशा भी होती है. मैम बस ये क्लियर करना था.
Okay, so I think that answers Mr. Bhattacharya's question. He had asked this on the chat. If Mr. Bhattacharya has any other question, he can also post it here. And yes, we'll be sharing the presentation with all of you. Thank you, Shazia, for clarifying.
Thank you so much, ma'am. My pleasure.
Meenu, since there are no questions, I think we can close for the day. We've already
Yes.
exceeded by 10 minutes.
Yes, we can do that. But just before we close, just wanted to thank Dr. Neha and Rachita for taking out the time. And this is the second session they are facilitating. So thank you so much for your time. I think this was a wonderful session. And to all the participants, thank you for joining. We will continue to keep in touch with you and try and organize more sessions that might add value to you all. We will also share other resources that the team kind of mentioned during the call, so that you can use it for your work on the ground. And also sharing a feedback form. We'll mail it to you, but Farhan will also put it out in the chat box here. If you could spare 30 seconds to share your feedback, that will be very, very useful for us and for our further sessions.
Hi, Rachita.
Hi.
Hi, this is Devo Mitra. Actually,
Hi.
struggling to unmute myself. I have a question. May I please ask?
Yes, please go ahead.
It's kind of a technical glitch I was facing. So I work with the immunization technical support unit. So I have a very basic question. We know, and I think you, first of all, congratulations for a wonderful presentation, though I missed a few of the initial slides, but it was awesome. So we know that hesitancy is a behavioral insight, and it is changing. So once the supply is there, we as human being, it's a human tendency that we are very relaxed, we are laid back. We'll tomorrow, okay, let them take first. This is the kind of complacency sinks into us, right? So again, if there is a vaccine shortage, then there will be the mad scramble for vaccination. The eagerness will be there. So less of hesitancy and more of eagerness, right? So in this roller coaster ride, so as a communication person, I'm asking you, so like when there is hesitancy, we are also gearing up. Like, okay, now we have to go for the SBCC materials, the community mobilization, sensitization, all. Once the curve goes down, once the curve of hesitancy goes down, so what should be a strategic approach? Should we maintain that same, tempo to keep the disseminating of the messages, key messages, or there will be a slight twist in our communication approach? So this is what I want to know from all of you. I mean, yeah.
So Devamitra, as I understand correctly, you are saying that if there is a supply issue, do we still keep creating demand for the vaccine, or should we twist it? Or you know?
Yes, like what should be the, do we the messages, or we really should be honest about it?
Yeah.
I want to know this.
No, I would say, so this is a question which is coming from my team as well, that now because there is vaccine shortage, we are seeing vaccine supplies, being routed. It's not reaching the center, or there are other issues, logistical issues. What do we do? Should we keep creating demand? The same question comes from my team also. I think when I mentioned that, AEFI and crisis communication, the point in the strategy, if you read the communication strategy, the point is addressed there also, that vaccine eagerness is also an issue. So you need to address it. So if you're working with these community influencers, you also need to be honest, is my answer, that you need to be honest about the supply, and you have to tell them that, one, you have to create demand for the vaccine among your community, but you also have to pacify them to wait for their turn. The vaccine will be there, the vaccine will come in, and then they can get, so it's basically aapka number bhi aayega. You just have to be patient also. So the way they were addressing it in the month of April, I think for the month of June also, they have to keep addressing this vaccine eagerness. So in the month of April also, we were getting these things ki hamara kab shuru hoga vaccination, kya hamari life important nahi hai. Second wave is seeing more youth being affected rather than people above 60. So what do we do? So it's the same issue again. But you have to be honest. You can't keep saying vaccine ka supply hai, tum chale jao, tum lagwa lo, it will come to you. You just can't give them false hopes, but you have to pacify them, and you have to tell them that the government is working to ensure supply. Vaccine milegi. You just have to be, one, you have to be calm. They have to pacify them, and two, they have to be ready. It's not ki kal vaccine, if it's available, you don't go for your vaccination. So I think that honest and transparent communication is also important.
True, true. Thank you so much, Rachita. And once again, wonderful presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I think now we can close. We are already 15 minutes.
Sure, we can do that. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining. And thank you, Dr. Neha and Rachita. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. Have a good day.